Good morning. Today is the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The mayor of Hiroshima today warned the world about the rise of self-centered nationalism and appealed for greater international cooperation to overcome the coronavirus, which is affecting everyone in the world right now, along with a warning against nuclear weapon proliferation and the climate crisis that is also affecting us all. Thursday morning, in Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park, near the center of where August 6, 1945, the blast destroyed the city, Kazumi Matsui renewed a peace declaration on behalf of the city and appealed to Japan's government to ratify the 2017 UN treaty promoting the elimination of nuclear weapons. 75 years after the bombing of Hiroshima, humanity struggles against this new threat of the novel coronavirus. Matsui said, "However, with what we have learned from the tragedies of the past, we should be able to overcome this threat. When the 1918 flu pandemic attacked a century ago, it took tens of millions of lives and terrorized the world because nations fighting World War I were unable to meet the threat together. A subsequent upsurge in nationalism led to World War II and the atomic bombings. We must never allow this painful past to repeat itself," he continued. "Civil society must reject self-centered nationalism and unite against all threats." Not only here in Des Moines, but also in Hiroshima, the memorial events have been scaled back due to the coronavirus. In Hiroshima, usually tens of thousands of people join together at the Peace Memorial Park for the ceremonies there. But this year, only 880 seats are set out for people, and all of those are 2 meters apart. And they are reserved for dignitaries, civil society representatives, and survivors of the bomb attack and their families. Also, traditionally, hundreds of doves representing a call for peace are let loose and fly over the city. However, this year, because of the pandemic, they were not able to train the doves to return back to their home. So that has been canceled. Also, in order to avoid crowds, the public ceremony of floating thousands of paper lanterns on the river of Hiroshima, Japan media has ceased that also. There will be just a few dozen lanterns containing messages of peace will be floated to mourn the lives of those whose lives were lost at the bombing. Thank you.
This is the history of the Japanese temple bell that you may see in the background. The prefecture of Yamanashi suffered heavy damage from typhoons in 1959, with great loss of human life, farm animals and crops, homes and fertile farmlands at that time. The people of Iowa, expressing their traditional humanity and profound friendship, donated to us all the way across the Pacific purebred breeding hogs and feed corn in order to encourage our people of Yamanashi to recover from the unprecedented typhoon disaster. This program expedited mutual understanding and friendship between our two states so sincerely and promptly that a sister state relationship, the first such affiliation between the United States of America and Japan, were subsequently established between Iowa and Yamanashi by the joint consent of both peoples. In commemoration of this, I, on behalf of the people of Yamanaski, hereby present a time-honored Japanese temple bell, together with its accompanying mysteries and prayers. May this bell forever symbolize the bonds of unfailing friendship between Iowa and Yamanaski, and may its sound deepen the spiritual contacts of both our peoples, thereby contributing to eternal peace and goodwill between the United States of America and Japan. Signed December 25th, 1961, by Hisako Amano, Governor of Yamanaski Prefecture, Japan.
Today we ring this bell to help us remember the horrible nuclear bombing of Hiroshima by our country exactly 75 years ago this morning, and of Nagasaki 3 days later. We ring the bell to mourn the instant death of 140,000 children, women, and men at Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, the vast majority civilians, and the death of 70,000 at Nagasaki on August 9. We ring the bell to mourn the tens of thousands more who died within a few days of the bombings. We ring the bell to remember the hibakusha who survived the blast and lived for days or decades with the burns, injuries, and trauma and loss of loved ones. Some hibakusha are still alive today, living with the scars and the terrible memory of the horrible bombings. We ring the bell reflecting on the fact that just this week, Tuesday's gigantic and disastrous explosion in Beirut apparently killed only 150 to 200 people and was tiny compared to Hiroshima and Nagasaki blasts and to the nuclear weapons we have deployed today. We ring the bell in shame that our nation was and is the only nation to have used nuclear weapons. We ring the bell to strengthen our conviction that nuclear weapons should never be used again by anyone, and that the world today is at high risk of a nuclear disaster. We ring the bell to urge our nation to become a leader in a worldwide movement to dismantle and prohibit all nuclear weapons. The U.S. can lead the way by renouncing the option of first use of nuclear weapons, by ending the unchecked authority of any president to launch a nuclear attack, by taking the U.S. nuclear weapons off hair trigger alert, by canceling plans to upgrade our entire nuclear arsenal with enhanced weapons at enormous cost, by the way, and pursuing verifiable worldwide efforts to eliminate and prohibit nuclear weapons. We ring this sacred bell as a symbol of our commitment to work as citizens of the United States to wage peace and lead the world back from the brink of war. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we will never forget you.